Hello there, class. This is the second session on literature review. The first session talked about the actual assignment, the due dates, and really what you need to do. If you have any more questions, McMasters will be there and we'll be glad to go through that with you. What we're going to do is quickly review again what a literature review is. And you have to remember that you're going to find 3 to 5 sources, publications, or articles on your topic. What you're going to then do is read through them, skimming, reading the beginning, the end, a little bit of the middle, to pull out from it information that is very important to your research topic. And those can be done in bullet point form. But what's going to happen is you are giving a summary of the background of research that has already been done. You're going to summarize key findings and conclusions that are actually shared amongst these papers. It shares important information or insight provided by previous research. And it will help define your research problem or your research topic. It will also give you insight about what they've learned. So this should be at max 1 to 2 pages. Feel free to use more than 5 sources if you feel that you would like to. 3 to 5 is the bare minimum. Anything beyond that is exciting and thrilling and hopefully a good lesson learned for you. And just remember that this is to help define the scope of the research that you are going to actually do. Okay, but it's probably been researched before, so you want to learn from your predecessors. Now, what we will do is we'll go briefly over an example of a literature review using APA referencing, and you will be held in this class accountable for actually citing or giving acknowledgement to the resources that you have pulled from. We don't want to be word rogues. We don't want to be thought rogues. We don't want to steal the ideas, the words of other people. We want to acknowledge professionally that you learned from them. And actually, when you cite, you're giving evidence. You're actually really backing up what you're saying with other professionals who either agree or think differently on the topic. And so it really does prove how professional and academic you are being when you actually properly use referencing. And APA is only one style. There's also MLA, Chicago, but really, especially in sociology, APA tends to be very popular in professional publications, so that's what we'll use for this class. Again, you don't need to do it perfect. For some of you, it's your first time. This class is just trying to get you to try new skills. So, if you'll look at the literature review, I'll use the arrow. This literature review, so if you can read this, it says, this is a literature review of completed research conducted on the possible relationship between child sexual protection and girls' education. You will notice this is my dissertation topic. I figure you're sharing your research ideas and topics. I will also do the same and share mine. And so it says that I used searching on Google Scholar, that my investigation on this topic showed the following key points. And I'm not going to go through all the points. This is on the handout, which is on the website and on Facebook, and it has been sent in email form. So you should have this copy. But let's go through the first bullet point. I found on my investigation a key lesson or relevant piece of information that I needed to acknowledge. And that was that the relationship between early childhood marriage, when a child may marry as young as, 8 or up to 17. Again, a child, according to Liberian law, is someone who is 17 or under. An adult is 18 or over. And what I want to try to promote through my research is acknowledging that when a girl marries early, it's not very good. So you can, again, see this point. A relationship between early childhood marriage and early childbearing, meaning she's given birth, with low education rates is well established in development literature. So my research of development literature on Google Scholar showed that the lower a woman's education, or a girl's education, the more likely she is to actually be married early off or to give birth very young. And so women who wed young often have less education, give birth earlier, hold less decision-making power in their household, and experience higher rates of domestic violence, and that means beating on from their husband. Well, one would question, where on earth did I learn this, or what is the evidence of where this piece of information came from? So if you go down, the APA resource number 1 is the actual article that I pulled and I learned this from. And it was a wonderful article. You can see I used APA formatting. I quote the authors first. I have the year, the title of the actual article, and then Gender and Development, which follows, is actually the name of the publication, the publishers that published it. And then the 11.2 is the actual issue of the publication, and the 9 through 19 is actually the page numbers. You don't need to offer all of this. You really only need to offer the last names of the author, the year of publication, the name of the publication, and when possible, the publisher. So this was one piece of information. Now, there are other ones where you can actually have multiple sources agreeing or sharing the same point. And you will see this particularly if we go to number 5. So you can see in number 5, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 different resources that are actually quoted for this point. And point number 5 is as such. Prevalence rates are commonly captured in surveys on child abuse, such as through self-reporting and, when possible, triangulated to other means of observation to account for potential data error. So this finding actually helped inform how I could investigate child sexual assault. And what these resources continually were saying, or are saying here, is that it's common to use surveys. So now I have identified that it would be good for me as a researcher to replicate that good practice, or that best practice as we call it. And they're saying through self-reporting, meaning the actual woman or girl is the person who's surveyed, and you're asking her about her own experiences. So this was good, but it's also warning me that I needed to triangulate, meaning if possible to observe, or to consider the fact that there might be some data error, that when I'm actually doing the survey, people might not be giving the right or correct information. They might be hiding the truth. So this really helped me. So what you really want to do is, this is your assignment. You can mimic example literature review 1. You should have at least, in this one we have I think about 7 bullet points. You should have minimum 5 in your literature review, and then you need to tie that literature review, each statement, to the actual resource where you learned it from. I hope this helps. There are further ones further below. The second example does not have APA referencing, and do remember you need to use APA referencing, which is as demonstrated here. And I'll highlight it. This is actually what your assignment should look like. That is half of it. And then here is the other half. This is your beginning half. So if you do this, you should get an A on the assignment. You should also learn plenty from the other resources. And hopefully this will really inform your research design and topic.